Your MT6 practice test. I'm going to do Form 1 right now, but Form 2 is pretty much the same thing with different numbers. Layla wants to do at least. What does at least mean? Well, that means greater than or equal to. So I'll use L for Layla. She wants to do greater than or equal to 25 pull-ups. Yes, Layla is a beast. Now, if we take a look at the second one, I'm going to start with W is less than X, and I know Y is less than Z. Will there ever be a time where they're equal? I can definitely see there's most cases they're not equal. But yes, there will be some times where I could get an equation out of that. For example, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They would be equal there, wouldn't they? So that's sometimes. Now, if W is less than X and Y is less than Z, if I change that to subtraction, notice that will always be true, won't it? Because W is less than X, Y is less than Z, and then if I make them less than, that's just, there's no case where you can't make that true. How about if W is less than X and then if W minus Y is less than X minus Y? That's what we did in lesson 1. If you subtract the same thing, it's always going to be true. How about if W is less than X and Y is less than Z, then W plus Y? Now, if I add something smaller, will I ever get it bigger? No, that will never be true. And then if W is greater than X, then we add the same thing to both sides. That's always going to be true. That one was no work to show, but a lot of thinking going on, what's going on with each one. Okay, in question 3, I want to get D by itself. So we just solve the equation like we normally do. We multiply both sides by -5. And we get 12D is greater than. Now 5 goes into 15 3 times, doesn't it? So I get -2/3. I'm multiplied by a negative, so I better go back and before I go any further, remember I got to switch my signs because I multiply by a negative. Then I'm going to divide by 12. Well, I'm going to divide by 12. Since I have a fraction, I'm going to rewrite it as -2/3 times 1/12. 2 goes into 12 6 times. D is less than -1/18. And then we want to write it in set builder notations. We put our set notation of D such that D is less than -1/18. Just multiplying and dividing by fractions. Nothing has changed from middle school. We should be able to do that. Now, if we take a look, some of you found a different way to do it. That's great. I'm only showing one way on the practice test. Now, on our next one, first thing you want to do, we want to multiply by 7 so you don't have a fraction. 6y is less than or equal to -42. We're going to divide by 6. Y is less than or equal to -7. This time, I want to graph it. So on my number line, -7, close circle because we're including it, and we're going to shade less than because I kept my Y on the left-hand side. Just doing all those things I told you to do during the assignments, I want you to keep it that way when you take your test. Nothing new, just do the same thing.